Hey, welcome back to this week's You Know My Voice episode. This is episode 8, which is mental. I don't know how the time has flown by. So this week I wanted to kick things off by firstly looking at the Guardian article by Jimmy Akinfenwa, which has myself, Shingy and Elizabeth Troy on the cover of that. For a quick background, for those of you who may not know, this all kind of came about when Funk Butcher tweeted, let's talk about black singers on dance music who being uncredited. And I tweeted my experience from the records that I sang and my experience in the industry and how hard I found it to try and get recognition for what I have done and my own journey. Didn't expect the kind of crazy reaction that it had. And I did an interview with the BBC. You can read that article. And also Jimmy wanted to continue that story with other singers, and hence the Guardian article, which came out, I think, last week. I want to say thank you for everybody who's had such a positive reaction, who've been sharing it and openly talking about it, because at the end of the day, this is what, when you talk about your own experiences or things that you want to change, people embracing that and speaking about it and seeing how they can take that on is what it's all about, really. And it's really awesome to, see people reacting in the way that they're reacting. If you want to know what my experiences were and stuff that I had to say, go ahead and read the Guardian article and also the BBC article, and continue to have conversations with the producers that you work with, other singers that have sung on records, and etc. And just for singer to singer, if you're out there and you're confused about stuff, do your research, make sure you have knowledge before you agree or sign off on any records. Just make sure you know exactly what you're doing, if you're happy to be unfeatured or uncredited, or if you're not, etc. And make sure you just have that conversation. I'm sure there's producers and musicians out there that have also got their own stories, as I know. But from singer to singer, I just want you guys to know that you're not alone out there. Everybody's had some interesting experiences in the industry, but the most important thing is knowledge. Know your worth and know how records work and all those kind of things before you say yes to doing something. Hopefully for these conversations that are being had, the industry in music and dance is looking like it will be a better place for all involved. Moving on to this week's episode, we covered More Than Friends in the last episode. The records now are post More Than Friends, kicking it off 2017. I wanted to have a look at For Love, which was with Thrdlife and Mario and myself. And that came out on Ministry of Sound, and that was a follow-up to More Than Friends. I absolutely love this record.
And I know how to mend a broken heart. No, I can't explain it.
So I absolutely love that dance record. It's a duet, Mario on the first verse, myself on the second verse, and then we weave in and out and sing together in the choruses. And I absolutely love duets. I've got a couple of duets that I've written at the moment that I can't wait to place or release at some point. And I just think the fusing of a great male and female vocal coming together is just awesome, and not many dance records do that. So that was For Love. Moving on from For Love, I ended up singing, someone requested it on my Insta the other week, Don't Wreck My Holiday, and talk about how I sung this. This was for Black Saint. I didn't write this record, but I got asked to sing this record. There was like a very specific way that we approach the singing of this. Like, some of my stuff is quite open for love. What I do for love. And I'm really sort of open and breathy, whereas this one was quite tight in the mouth. It's like I want to do my like South African accent, a little bit tight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Text messages. Guess who it is? Same as always.
The way we approach that vocal with Black Saint, it's just keeping that mouth really, really tight, and it's kind of sweet, and it's not got too much weight to it, and that's kind of like gives it that like little bounce that you hear on the record, and yeah, that kind of relaxed, slightly lazy confidence of it. So it's more like it's got an element of like being a bit of a spoken vocal, which kind of sells the whole vibe of just being on holiday. Don't Wreck My Holiday. One of my absolute favourite things about that record is it was an Instagram account called Weird Cats Buyout, and there were like these cats dancing to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a bit of my humour there. I found that quite funny and I watched it many times. Anyway, moving on from Don't Wreck My Holiday, the next record that came out, I think this was looking at 2018, and this was Love and Devotion with Jenaux. This record I wrote with Boy Matthews, who will feature another few times in this, and Boy Matthews and we wrote quite a few records together. And Love and Devotion, we kind of went for this really big vocal, really heavy, and it was like, I've I've been working my ass off and you are not giving me enough love and devotion or attention right now, and you know, you're gonna know about it. And we kind of wanted to, you know, hark back and throw it back to old school singers like Aretha Franklin, that kind of vibe, and just have such a boss energy about it.
Take a look at me now. I've been working so damn hard,
Working just to please someone. So Love and Devotion, check that out. That's also on my Yes I Sang It playlist. I realised that some of the songs that I've been talking about actually aren't on the Yes I Sang It playlist, because I made that playlist to talk about the songs that I sang that didn't have my name on it, but seeing as more people be going through that playlist now, I'm starting to add in some songs that may not be as well known and recognised and do have my name on it. Yeah, Yes I Sang It. Moving on from there, the next record I had for Hardwell and Dannic. I actually met Dannic at a writing camp at ADE with Ultra. Super lovely guy, and we were working on a record together, and when I flew back from ADE, absolutely mash up. If anyone's been to ADE, they will know. He texted me saying, I didn't know you were singing my next record with Hardwell, and I also said, I didn't know I was singing your next record with Hardwell. And somehow Hardwell's team had ended up with an a cappella of mine and Boy Matthews, who I wrote Love and Devotion with, called Chase the Sun. And that record, I think that record's done like 9 million streams. It's my first foray-ish into more EDM. Okay, that's enough EDM for now. Moving on to that kind of big year, that was beginning of 2019, had the record come out with Hardwell, and then I had 2 records come out for Tiesto. Tiesto is probably one of my favourite people I've worked with in terms of I've not actually met. I got sent some instrumentals to create some top lines with, and they loved 2 of my top lines. I sent them back, but he and his team were just super lovely and so pro, and that was just so awesome just to like work like that, really. And he was super lovely. So I did Tiesto's and Mesto's Can't Get Enough when my voice was pitched down so you wouldn't know it was me.
said they told me not to love you, but I couldn't get enough.
And that was fun that they took that vocal, because it was like a bit of a darker vocal, especially on a dance track as well. They told me not to love you, but I couldn't get enough. And then the one that was credited on with Tiesto and Justin Caruso, Feels So Good.
I dance alone and dance within a crowd. I love to hear the music played loud, and it feels so good. Feels like I want it. Feels so good. Oh yeah.
And as I go through some more of these records, what is awesome is obviously they're recorded by me. I like to produce my own vocals and send off my own stems, because that way I can do things my way and, you know, feel really comfortable with my vocal delivery and my vocal takes. I've got my mic, which I love, Advanced Audio, for any singers watching. Advanced Audio are amazing mics, and I quite like doing that, doing my own vocals and then sending off the stems. This one I love. This came out 2019 as well, and this is The Remedy. The fun thing about writing The Remedy, I went into the studio with James Jacobs and Paul Harris, and we just kind of vibed, and actually most of the take on this is kind of like 1 or 2 takes. We kind of just like scattered some lyrics and it just kind of flowed, and then I think I sort of ad-libbed some of this, and it just felt right. Sometimes when you're in the studio, you've got to go with what feels right. Sometimes you might like over-analyze it and really like work out, should this lyric be this lyric? And sometimes it's just a vibe. Sometimes you just got to go with the vibe, and this was a vibe. Keep it really sweet here, octaves.
Can't see to focus. Got me with some hocus pocus. Burning up and so you notice. Honey, you're my remedy.
And then give it some of the house here.
Can't wait to see ya. Yeah, it's so damn hot, this fever.
And I think it was my first release on the amazing house label that is Strictly Rhythm. I got a record for, actually this one was 2018, so I should have done it a little bit earlier on. Touch Me for Malifoo and Santti. I flew to Sao Paulo. It was my first time in Brazil, and I literally had like 3 days there and had a nightmare scare to try and get back in time from Brazil to Birmingham for Birmingham Pride. I literally did not sleep on the flight back and went and landed and performed at Birmingham Pride. Anyway, which came out of that, this record called Touch Me. I love this record. It's got this kind of slightly disclosure-y vibe to it. This record was on Armada as well.
The way I feel is addictive as you're preying on my weakness.
I wanted this record to be like sexy, moody, laid back, and it's all about that kind of connection with someone, but they might not be even noticing you at the time, and it's just sort of like crying out for that, yearning for that touch me. So Touch Me with Malifoo and Santti.